Because that's what they do, right? This is what leftist, liberal, Democrat media is. Rachel Maddow lied. She knew she lied. That's what the reporting is. The Free Beacon reports Rachel Maddow and her co-stars made verifiably false statements about a doctor they called the uterus collector. Now his $30 million lawsuit is headed for trial. A federal judge ruled against NBC after top anchors accused doctor of performing mass hysterectomies on women inmates of an immigration facility. I'm not surprised. You're not surprised. I am surprised that accountability may be looming for MSNBC, NBC, Rachel Maddow, Chris Hayes, Nicole Wallace. These people lie. It's what they do. The thing is, it's so easy to avoid falling into a defamation trap. I'm surprised they got caught here, to be honest. The story is quite simple. They accused a doctor of performing mass hysterectomies, or I should say, they released a statement from someone they knew that was likely to be false, publishing false statements, accusing a doctor of performing mass hysterectomies. And the question is why? Why would they risk such... Why would they engage in such obvious defamation, says this report? You see how I'm doing that? Because it's politically advantageous for Democrats to come out and say that there's an immigration doctor sterilizing women. NBC Universal is headed for trial after a judge ruled in favor of a Georgia doctor who MSNBC's biggest stars accused of performing mass hysterectomies on women at a Trump-era immigration facility in Georgia. The judge ruled that Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace, Chris Hayes made verifiably false statements about the doctor who is suing NBC for $30 million. The discovery process in the lawsuit, which has received little attention, has drawn back the curtain on the inner workings of MSNBC, revealing how the liberal cable network works hand in hand with NBC News, which seeks to portray itself as nonpartisan. NBC Universal Standards Department reviewed and approved the reporting on the Georgia doctor before it was published on NBC News and then broadcast on MSNBC programs. The NBC correspondents Jacob Soboroff and Julia Ainsley worked closely with a standards executive during their reporting. Soboroff is also an MSNBC correspondent. Furthermore, Maddow, who was deposed for the lawsuit, and Hayes were personally involved in the off-camera vetting and editorial conversations around the segment to an extent that can be unusual for on-camera hosts. Maddow is reportedly paid about $30 million a year by NBC Universal to host her own show one evening a week and work on longer-range projects. In a ruling last month, the judge, Lisa Godby Wood of the Southern District of Georgia, found that Maddow, Hayes, and Wallace made 39 verifiably false allegations about Mahendra Amin, a gynecologist who treated detainees at a Georgia Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility. Now, I'll pause here. They go on to say, and we'll get into more detail, a nurse filed a whistleblower complaint that was eventually proven to be false based on hearsay. So why would they run this story? What's the goal? Democrats want to run the narrative that Donald Trump had concentration camps and was mass sterilizing people because they are evil. Instead of arguing on the merits, they want to keep your default lib person in a deluded state of paranoia. They say Donald Trump is working on Project 2025. Okay, if Donald Trump's planning all of these things with Project 2025, why didn't he do it the first time he was president? What did Donald Trump do the first time he was president? I got to be honest. Not a whole lot. But I will tell you this. No new wars. Oof. That really must have grinded their gears, right? I mean, that's the bulk of it. Tell me what Trump did. USMCA, okay, a new trade agreement, shuttered TPP. Do these things matter to the American people? For the most part, no. Does it actually matter? Absolutely. TPP is a Trans-Pacific Partnership was a disaster of a bill that would have given foreign governments legal rights over American citizens in disputes with their corporate entities. No. The American people are sovereign. And if we say no to your business, no to your business. But this idea is like a free trade agreement between these Pacific countries that means that their companies need to have some legal recourse. Trump says, nope, throws it in the garbage. Good man. Trump was not perfect on securing the border, but he put an effort there. New bollard fencing, new security in key areas makes sense. They act like Trump built a 30-foot wall from sea to shining sea. He certainly did not. Trump did not invoke the Insurrection Act. Trump did not ban abortion. Well, he'll take credit for this one. His Supreme Court justices overturned Roe v. Wade. But Trump and the Republicans, when they had control in 2016, they didn't do anything. In fact, Trump was accused of being a Russian spy half the time. But this is the game they play. They lie to you. What are you going to get with a Trump presidency? I'm telling you, it's going to be marginal victories. Marginal at best. Trump will likely hire bad people. You will grumble because Trump is a moderate boomer type, but anti-establishment. So we're going to get a lot of bad. We'll get a little bit of good, and the good will be a little bit better than the bad, and I'll take it. Trump's not going to purge the government, install loyalists. They're claiming he's going to never leave office. Just get out of here. If that was the case, he wouldn't have left in 2020, but he tried not to leave in 2020. Yeah, and then he did, okay? Like, you mean to tell, like, he couldn't do it, he couldn't pull it off, and you're acting like he will this time? Shut up. Here's what they say. In the end, we are left with this. NBC investigated the whistleblower letter's accusations. That investigation did not corroborate the accusations and even undermined some. NBC republished the letter's accusation anyway, Wood wrote in a scathing 108-page ruling on June 26. She ordered a jury trial to determine if MSNBC engaged in actual malice, the standard to determine defamation. It sounds like the judge thinks they already did. That's amazing. What did they say? What was the number? It was 39 verifiably false allegations about this doctor, just so that they could put out this lie that Donald Trump was doing these atrocious things. The discovery process revealed how MSNBC and NBC News journalists and executives acknowledged privately in text messages, emails, and conference calls that they didn't know if the allegations were true, but reported them anyway. You see, that's called reckless disregard for the truth. The lawsuit could prove embarrassing to MSNBC, which bills itself the premier destination for news and informed perspectives. Communications obtained during the discovery process revealed that many executives and top journalists at the network had concerns about the whistleblower, but breathlessly reported her claims anyway. Quote, "We just don't know if any of this is true," Chris Skoll, an NBC News veteran who is NBC Universal's deputy director of standards, said in a conference call with Hayes on September 16th, 2020, according to notes released in a lawsuit. The evening before, MSNBC had broadcast a story detailing claims from the whistleblower, Dawn Wooten, a former nurse at the ICE facility. "The guy has a pretty clean record," Scholl said of Amin in the conference call. "Has no direct knowledge of this," and that Wooten had no direct knowledge of this stuff, and kind of has a beef, though he did not elaborate. Despite Scholl's concerns, Hayes, Maddow, and Wallace aired several segments about Wooten's allegations on their evening MSNBC programs, sparking a Senate investigation into Amin's activities. On our top-rated MSNBC show, Maddow quoted a detainee as saying, "When I met all these women who had had surgeries, I thought this was like an experimental concentration camp." The nurse says she and her fellow nurse, quote, "questioned among ourselves like, goodness, he's taking everyone's stuff out. That's his specialty. He's the uterus collector. He's taking all their uteruses out, or he's taking their tubes out." Amin sued MSNBC for defamation in September of 2021, denying that he had performed any unnecessary medical procedures. The Senate probe found no evidence the physician had done so, and that contrary to allegations, 2 hysterectomies he performed were deemed medically necessary by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Since its hard left turn in the mid-2000s, MSNBC has sought to portray itself as fully separate from NBC News, which produces iconic programs like Today and Nightly News, blah, blah, blah. Anybody paying attention knows that NBC News, they lie. MSNBC, they're the same thing. Don't they have the same logo anyway? All in with Hayes. Woman claiming she received unnecessary hysterectomy at ICE facility in Georgia speaks exclusively to All In. That guy's evil. These people are evil. Here's what I want for you. I want you to know to the best of your abilities what is most accurate so that you can decide for yourselves how to live your life. What is the system that will work for all of us so that life gets better? I am just some dude complaining on the internet. I don't want power. I want to be left alone to skateboard and mind my own business. But what I can't stand, what drives me, what fills me with anger is the people who lie, cheat, and steal to gain power. That pisses me off to no end. And, you know, maybe it has a lot to do with my work in these nonprofits, fundraising. And when I realized that they were all liars and that it was a big con, and that really pissed me off. Maybe I got a chip on my shoulder that I am sick of these people lying. Your hard-earned money, it's yours. And we should allow merit to to decide what makes the most sense. Those who have the abilities and the capabilities, they will achieve what needs to be achieved, and they will run the systems they need to run. And if at any point they fail, someone else will step in. There will come a time when this channel, when my show will not be nearly as large as it is. I will get older. I'll become more tired, perhaps with family disinterested. That happens. And then someone else will step up and take over. And hopefully they retain those same values. Values that you, knowing the truth, is the best course for our country and our world and for humanity. You knowing to the best of your abilities what is happening so that you can improve your life, raise better children, train better children, and lead better Americans. That's what I want to see. And that's why when I look at MSNBC and NBC News, I am filled with rage. It's why when I see those two Republicans refuse to hold Merrick Garland accountable, I am filled with rage. We can't function this way. We can't live this way. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.